Hi, today we're going to learn how to make moist sugar cookies. I have all the ingredients in front of me and they're pre-sifted, pre-measured, so all I have to do is empty them into my bowl. I have here 4 cups of sifted flour, which, like I said, I already pre-measured. And then with this, I have to add 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Now, most recipes you have to add the sugar and the shortening, but this is kind of a backwards recipe. This is my mother's recipe. Next, I have to add 1 cup of shortening. Now I need to cut it with the pastry blender. And you're supposed to cut it till it represents a cornmeal. And you have to just work it in there, which I think we are just about there. So I'll take out my pastry blender. Next I have to stir in 1½ cups of sugar, which is pre-measured. So I'll mix the 1½ cups of sugar in to the recipe. Next I need 2 eggs, 2 large eggs. Okay, and now you have to mix. So we will mix in the 2 eggs into the flour and the baking powder. Like I say, it's a little bit of backwards of a recipe. A lot of times you have to just do the sugar with the shortening. But this is my mother's recipe. And believe me, they're good. I know I've tried a lot of different sugar cookies, and this is a real moist sugar cookie. Okay, that is that. Now I need to add a teaspoon of vanilla. Okay, that's all finished. And we have to stir all this up. Okay. So now we have to make 1/2 cup of sour milk. So I have my 1/2 cup of milk pre-measured. I add a little bit of lemon juice. And we will pour it into the mix. And that there is your sugar cookie dough. Like I say, these are really moist. I find that if you roll them out kind of on the thick side, it's a little bit moister and chewier than if you roll them really thin. So if you want a real thin, crispy cookie, that you would roll it thin. But if you want a moist, chewy sugar cookie, then you just roll them out a little bit thick. And I have to add the baking soda. We have 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And I'll mix that in. And that is my mother's recipe. Now we're going to roll out the sugar cookies that we just made. What I did was I put them in the refrigerator about an hour or so, let it get chilled. And I wrapped it up in plastic wrap. So I have a little ball of flour here because we need to put a little flour down, otherwise the cookie dough will stick onto the table. Take a little bit of the dough, kind of coat both sides with the flour. Kind of knead it out a little bit. Make sure you keep flour down because otherwise it will stick. Have my rolling pin. So we're just going to roll out the cookie dough, turning it. And there again, like I said before, you need to kind of cut them out on the thick side so that when they rise, they'll be nice and moist. At this point, you need to preset your oven at 375. And you put them in the oven on a cookie sheet. I use the air-baked cookie sheets because I find they really come out quite well. And finished product, I have a fish, I have a little tulip, and we have sugar cookie stars.